Hi guys, it's Kate back again. I am here today to discuss a really exciting TBR that I'm going to be doing for a challenge I'm doing this summer. It is called the Summer Romance 2018 Bingo Challenge. I found out about this up on Instagram from a friend of mine named Latasha, and I will link her down below. But it's a really cool romance reading challenge, but it's based around bingo. So there are slots for each square. You make a bingo card online. There's spots for each square to include a romance type of challenge. This was put together by, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget, by Sarah over at Not Just Romance Novels on YouTube, and she's also on Instagram. And then Sissy at Romance Queen of BookTube. They are they're the hosts together with it. And it's a really fun challenge, and I will link their videos, the announcement video, and their TBRs for this. And I'm really excited to show my TBR, so let's get started. So, I have this this card that you print off online. I'll put the link to it as well. And it has all the challenges on there, and I had really fun putting together my TBR for this. It's going to be a mixture of some arcs I need to get read this summer, but also some really cool things that'll fit each challenge. So the first challenge is a book that is part of a series, which if you read romance novels, there's a lot of them are part of series. And so I've decided to read It Takes Two by Jenny Holiday. Not only is this an arc I need to read this summer, but also I read the first novel back in February for this series. It's the Bridesmaids Behaving Badly series. And I loved the original title. It was called One and Only. And this one, it takes place, I'm not exactly sure how much after, but it happens to be with, and I think I've talked about this, the girl, the friend of the main character in the first novel, one of her close friends, and the brother. And so I got to read this for it coming out. I believe it comes out June 26th. And I'm really excited to pick it up and read it. And that's the book that is part of the series. Next is a romance. They're all romances. Next is sports romance, and I chose Scoring Wilder by R.S. Gray. I'm hopefully going to be doing a video soon, an author spotlight on R.S. Gray, because I really enjoy her romance novels, but I want to read a little bit more from her before I do it. But Scoring Wilder, from what I understand, is pretty much her most popular novel. This has to do with a girl that falls in love with her soccer coach. And yeah, it looks really good. I've heard a lot of great things about it. I'm excited to pick it up. Next is Romance with a Cowboy. This one's a little scary for me because, I don't know, that's one thing I've never been like, oh my god, I love cowboys. Like, I don't really read that sort of thing. So it's going to be quite interesting, but I decided to pick up the book Smooth Talking Cowboy by Maisey Yates. I've never read Maisey Yates before, but I saw that my library had a copy of this, and I liked the cover, and it looks pretty interesting. I really can't say much more than that. I don't know that much about it, but I'm really excited to give it a try. If you have any cowboy romance recommendations you think I might like, put them below in a comment or something. I'm open to it. I just never thought it would be something I like. So, but I'm excited to give it a try. All right. Next is a romance with a cat or a dog on the cover. This was hard for me because generally, from what my experience is, if a romance has a dog or some sort of animal on the cover, it's usually one of those small town romances, and I haven't had the best success with them. I read a couple Jill Chavez books last year, and there was one other book I read by Molly Harper last year that I just wasn't a huge fan of. And well, it didn't have, the Molly Harper one didn't have pets on it. A lot of Jill Chavez's books do, and I like pets in romance novels. I don't necessarily always connect with the novels that have pets on the cover. So I was a little nervous about this, but I decided to pick up Good Boy by Sarina Bowen. I've had this on my TBR and on my Kindle for a long time. From what I understand, Good Boy is not necessarily a continuation of Sarina Bowen and Elle Kennedy's Him, Us, Male, Male series, but it is, I know the first novel in this has to do with the sister of one of the characters in the Him and Us duology. If you haven't read that duology, I highly, highly recommend it. It's a fantastic male-male romance duology. If you are looking for a male-male romance, they're top-notch. I enjoyed them immensely. I read them at the beginning of this year. But so, yeah, I have it on my Kindle. I figure, you know, I can knock something off my TBR. And the covers have these, like, shirtless football players with these dogs on it. And it's really cool. Like, I just like it. So it's not the traditional, I don't know, animal on the cover sort of thing, but I think it's going to be good. I'm really excited to get to it. Next we have one of the scariest ones for me, a Harlequin category romance. I'd obviously heard of Harlequin, but I didn't really know what a category romance meant. And apparently Harlequin has these, excuse me, these different romance series, mini-series that they publish their books under. And when I think of Harlequin romance, I think of the, you know, the 25-cent books that my mom would used to read when I was little. But, you know, that's how I felt about my paperback romances from historical romances before I started collecting them. And I don't know, I want to give it a shot, but it's a little scary because I don't really know anything about these sort of books. But I decided to pick up, because I could find it at my library, I decided to pick up Matched, I gotta read it off the paper, Matched to a Billionaire by Cantrell. Cantrell. I don't know much about it. The cover looked okay, and, you know, I just thought, I gotta pick something, you know. If you have read any good Harlequin category romances, you know, leave a comment, give me some suggestions. But for now, this might change. I may change a different one, but I saw it on my library. I was like, I'll give it a shot, you know. Excuse me. But yeah, I'm excited to try it out. And hey, maybe I'll be a convert after this. Yeah, I've read books on the HQN Teen, like the imprint, but I've never actually read any like traditional romance from Harlequin. So I'm excited to give it a shot. All right, next we have romance novel published in 2018, and I actually already finished this novel, and you'll see a review on it up soon. But it is called The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hoang. I believe that's how you say it. I could be completely wrong, and I apologize if I am, but I adored this novel. This is a fantastic novel. Basically, it's about a woman who has high-functioning autism, and she decides to hire a male escort when she realizes she's bad at relationships and she's not good with physical intimacy. And it's a romance story between these two characters, and it's so, so, so good. One of my favorite books of the year. It comes out on Tuesday. I highly, highly recommend picking it up. I got an early copy of it, art copy of it, and I highly, highly recommend it. So I already knocked out my first challenge. If I didn't say it so already, this challenge runs from June 1st to August 31st. So you have the entirety of the summer to complete the challenges, and you don't have to complete every single box. I am, but you don't have to complete every single box. You just have to get bingo. However way you want to do it. If you want to do it diagonal, you want to do it up and down, you want to do 4 corners, you know, or you want to complete the whole sheet, you know. It's up to you. All right, back to the TBR. The next one is a standalone novel, which fairly easy, right? And this is another one I just finished, like this morning. I just finished the book. I chose Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. I had some conflicting issues with this book. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a standalone review, but I may do a blog post on it. But it was a well-written novel. It just had some issues with some of the characters. But if you want something that's, deeply emotional, with some flawed characters, I would highly suggest it. But you can pick any standalone romance novel you can find. I would search your stacks, but I had a physical copy of this. I also had an ebook copy of it, and I figured, I might as well give it a shot. And yeah, that's my standalone TBR recommendation. Then we have a book by an author writing under a pseudonym. This was surprisingly hard for me. I heard of Nora Roberts writing under J.D. Robb and things like that, but I don't hear a lot of pseudonyms in the romance community, unless you're going more indie. But I've chosen to read Tapping the Billionaire by Max Monroe. And I chose this because, one, I was able to get a copy of it for my Kindle several months ago when it went on sale. But also, I'm part of the romance package for Audible, which basically is kind of like Kindle Unlimited, where you can have up to 10 romance audiobooks at a time, and you can listen to them. And this one was on there, and I figured I might as well give it a shot. I don't read a lot of books that have the billionaire tropes in it, so it'll be interesting to see what all the fuss is about. And this is, like I said, this is by Max Monroe, and it is actually, not only is it written under a pseudonym, but it's two authors together. And so I'm excited to pick it up, see what it is. All right, and the next one is a romance featuring someone in the medical field. And so I chose to pick up The Player by Kay Bromberg. The female character in there, she's not a doctor or a nurse or anything like this, but she works with athletes who have injuries, and that's the main premise of this. She's working with a baseball player after he has an injury. And this is another one that was on my romance Audible package. And it's by Kay Bromberg, and I've been wanting to read Kay Bromberg for a while. I have another one of her books on my TBR. Not this one, but another one. And I'm excited to pick her up and see what all the hype is about. Next, I have Novel that takes place in a major city. I decided to choose something a little different because I guess I'm pretty close to DC, so I thought, oh, maybe I'll choose something in DC, but it can just be a major city. So I chose to pick up The Rosie Project by Graeme Simsion. And for the life of me right now, I am not remembering what city it is. I think it's New York City, but I will double check on that, and I'll put a little annotation or something to let you guys know where it's from. But this one the book I've had on my shelf for a long time. And I've talked about this, it's a kind of a socially awkward kind of scientist who believes that he can create the perfect woman, and the woman he gets is Rosie. So I think it's going to be a fun story, and I'm really excited to pick it up. And this will just give me an excuse, the kick I need, the proverbial kick I need in the butt to pick it up and read it. All right. Next one is a subgenre for paranormal romance. So basically, you just need to pick a paranormal romance and read it. And I chose Lover at Last by J.R. Ward. I'm trying to make my way through that series, and I've been wanting to read this one for a long time, and so I'm going to pick that up. It's a male romance. I would not suggest if you're going to do this series to start with this one. I would go back and start with Dark Lover, which is the first book in the series, which is excellent book. But that's the choice I'm making. And then we have pick a 2018 Rita finalist. If you don't know what Rita is, it's the romance, basically the romance association. They have a they have a list every year of the top romance books in different subgenres, and I chose to pick up a book called The Rivalry by Nikki Sloane. It was nominated for top erotic romance or something like that. I don't know much about it at all, really. I liked the cover, and I just thought, it might be a good one. I think it has to do with a sports star. So I'm excited to pick it up. I haven't read any Rita books, so I'm excited. And then the next box is Reader's Choice. Now, normally you would see in bingo, that's a free space. Well, in this scenario, that is not a free space. It is a free square, but it's reader choice, so you can pick anything you want, any romance book you want to read. And I chose to pick up More Than Words by Mia Sheridan. While I didn't like Archer's Voice, I have an arc of this book, and I want to pick it up and read it. I've heard really good things, and I'm excited. This book comes out, I believe, June 12th. And I don't know, everybody I follow online seems to really like this book, and I'm excited to pick it up. I don't know much about it, but I'm really excited. And then we have A Book You Bought for the Cover, which for me, in a lot of ways, it's pretty much every book. But I am choosing to read Size Matters by Alison Bliss. This one I really like. It's a romance, but it has to do with the main female character is plus size, which I really like when I read romances like that, just because I feel like in a lot of romances you're reading the similar archetypes. You know, you have the guy, the big brooding alpha male, and then you have the, you know, the little sweet kind of shy, like, girl who's just like, they all seem the same to me after a while. And so it's nice to pick up something like this. I don't know how it's going to be. I like the covers, and I think it's going to be really cute. I hope it's really cute. I'm crossing my fingers. But yeah, that's the book I chose for Book You Bought for the Cover. Next is a novel that takes place in a country you don't live in. So basically any place except the United States. So I chose On Dublin Street by Samantha Young. I just recently got the book for this, physical copy of this. I've heard really good things about it, and it takes place in Ireland. And so I'm really excited to pick it up. I don't know much about it. I know the main character is pretty damaged for whatever reason, and she goes to goes to live in Dublin, Ireland. And I'm excited to see what happens. If you've read this and you have thoughts on it, let me know. I'm excited to pick it up. Next, we have romance with a one-word title. And I decided just to go, scroll through my TBR on my Kindle. And I scrolled by this one, Idol by Kristen Callihan. I've read Kristen Callihan's sports romance series, contemporary one, that started with The Hookup, which I love. That series is awesome. But I'm caught up on that series so far, and I didn't really want to pick up any of her more supernatural books. And this had a one-word title, and it has to do with a rock star. And I have not read very many books, romance books, that have to deal with singers and musicians. So I'm really excited to pick this one up. Next, I have a romance set at the beach, which obviously that's going to be perfect. Beach reads in summer, And I chose to pick up Worth the Fall by Claudia Connor. I don't know much about this. I know it's set at the beach. I know it has to do with a single mother. I believe the male character is either in the military or he's something involved with that. And the audiobook is part of the Audible Romance package, so I can get that pretty easily because I already pay for the package. And yeah, I'm excited to pick it up. I'm actually gonna probably pick that up pretty soon. That might be my next audiobook. We'll see. But yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. I'm excited to pick it up. Next, we have subgenre contemporary romance. I obviously don't read much contemporary romance. Wait. Yeah, I do. I do read a lot of contemporary romance, so obviously pretty much anything I pick up, as long as it's not the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, I can pretty much read. And I chose to pick up The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory, and I have the physical copy. I mentioned it before in one of my earlier videos that I got a free copy from the girls over at Under the Covers book blog, and I'm really excited to pick it up so that I can pick up the next book by Jasmine Guillory coming out soon, The Proposal, this summer. So I'm really excited for The Wedding Date. I really, really am. I think that a wedding type novel is going to be great for this summer. I can't wait to pick that up. And then we have book with more than 10,000 reviews on Goodreads. I looked through a lot of this stuff on my, I generally like to pick something that's already on my TBR. So I went through, did all the, on Goodreads, did all this, what do you call it? The filtering for 10,000 reviews or more. And a lot of them had to be YA. And I love YA. I'm a librarian. I read primarily YA most of the time when I'm not reading romance. And, but I just want to do something a little bit different. And so I was scrolling through, and then I saw Rock Chick by Kristen Ashley, and I've been wanting to read Kristen Ashley for a long time. And this one is romance, traditional romance. It's not young adult at all, but it had way more than 10,000 reviews. So I'm really excited to pick it up. Like I said, I don't know much about it, but I like going blind. I kind of feel like that's the best way to go into a book sometimes. You don't have these preconceived notions. I think that was one of the reasons I had so many issues with Archer's Voice, because I was going in with these preconceived notions about what it was going to be like. And then it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. Whereas here, I don't want to know that much. I just want to be pleasantly surprised, hopefully. So next, I have Romance featuring a musician. And like I said, I don't read a lot of books like this, so it's nice that I'm picking up more of them. I chose to pick up A Stone in the Sea by A.L. Jackson. This is an author I've been wanting to read for a while, and this is the first book in a fairly long series that I believe she's just completed. And it has to do with a rock star, and I'm very excited to pick it up. Next, I'm on the last little line of the bingo card. The next one I have is a subgenre again for, originally it was inspirational romance, but I believe they decided to change it to a sweet romance, or a heartwarming type romance. I'm actually glad and they didn't do inspirational, just because I feel weird reading inspirational romance novels. I think about these books my mom read when I was little that had to do with like Amish people. I thought, it's not my cup of tea. I know there's people that love that, and that's great, but it's just not my cup of tea. So I'm glad that we moved it to more of a sweet romance. So I decided to pick up a book that I've heard nothing about, and I just thought, it's got decent reviews, I might as well pick it up. It's called The Practice Proposal by Tracy March. Again, I have no idea anything about this novel. So if you have read it or you've read this author, please comment and let me know if it's decent. That's one of the other ones I may switch, just because I don't really know much about the more inspirational type romance subgenre very much. So I could definitely take suggestions, but this is what I have on there for now. Next, I have another subgenre, historical romance. And I chose to pick up Wicked and the Wallflower by Sarah MacLean. I already have to read this summer, and I've never read any Sarah MacLean. I've wanted to for a long time. And so I'm really excited to read this. I'm going in blind again. I don't know much about it at all. I just know it's historical, and I'm really excited. I've heard that she writes really fantastic female characters, which I really like, a strong female character. And that's one of the reasons I really like historical romance. So next one is a book with less than 1,000 reviews on Goodreads. So we're going with the other spectrum of way less reviews versus the 10,000, which is a lot of reviews. And I decided to pick up Diamonds and Dirt Roads. I better look this up. Diamonds and Dirt Roads, yes, from by Erin Nicholas. Sorry. I've talked about this book. I just got it from Amazon, and it's a fake relationship sort of romance. I'm really excited to pick it up. I don't know much beyond that, and like I said, I like to go in blind, and that's the one I chose for that. The other one, I have two more. There's subgenre romantic suspense, which I've just started getting into a little more romantic suspense, and I decided to pick up The Girl in 6E by A.R. Torre. If you watched my my summer reading TBR, I want to read this book. I have the physical copy of the book, and it just looks really, really good. It's basically, like I said in the earlier novel, it's about video. It's about a cam girl who is afraid to leave her home because she feels that if she leaves, she will kill somebody. And it has to do with some sort of murder that happens. And yeah, and there's more than one novel. I think there's 3 actually. And I'm hoping I really like it and can pick up the rest. And I've never read A.R. Torre, and that's her, I guess that's the pen name, you could say, for Alessandra Torre. And then we have a novel that takes place in a small town. Like I said earlier, I'm very picky about small town romances. Generally, they're just okay for me. I haven't found one I'm like, oh my god, this is the best book I've ever read. They're just not that for me. But I decided to pick up The Coppersmith Farmhouse by Devney Perry. I'd heard really good things about this series, and I have several of Devney Perry's books on my Kindle. If I'd knock it out. I know this takes place in a small town. I don't know if it would be considered a traditional small town romance, but I'm excited to pick it up. So there we go. Those are my that's my TBR for the challenge. Let me know if you're going to try out this challenge. I had heard about it from a Instagram friend of mine, Latasha, and like I said, I'll put her Instagram handle down below. But yeah, I'm excited. You know, I like to break up the monotony sometimes. I always have this big TBR, but try to kind of make it a little more fun. I'm gonna try this out. If you get a chance, you know, follow me on my social media. I'll have my Instagram, my Twitter, my Facebook, and different things down below. And guys, have a great summer and happy reading. Bye.